Hello everyone, this is my 7-round NFL mock draft for the Seattle Seahawks using PFF simulator. Now, before we begin, one quick thing that I'm going to ask everyone out there, if you could help me a little bit with a comment or some advice or just anything to help me improve my videos. I'm a new person on YouTube. I just started making videos literally a couple of days ago, and um, I'm new to this. I don't have any experience, so any little bit of help that you could give me, I would really appreciate that. Okay, thank you very much. Now on to the Seahawks draft. The theme of this draft was to try and take the best overall player at the slot that they were picking at. So Seattle, there's some spots on the roster are super strong, and other spots could be upgraded. They've made some nice trades recently with Detroit, or well, not recently, but I mean within the past 1 or 2 years. They've replenished some of that secondary and some of that defense. But overall, with this draft, what I wanted to accomplish was just take the best player available, not really target any one specific kind of thing. So, jumping right in, selection 38, Michael Pittman Jr., wide receiver, University of Southern California. I took him here because, well, he was the best value. Like I'm saying, I want to take the best player at the given draft slot. What he does well is that I think he will complement the receiving core in Seattle a ton, because DK Metcalf is like a fade. He's a go route, down the field, deep threat. Tyler Lockett, he's more of maybe the middle of the field and like a slot kind of guy. Michael Pittman, he's going to be an outside receiver with amazing size that gets open in the middle of or not the middle of the field, but the intermediate areas of the field. And he just consistently gets open all the time, has a ton of production. And the other great thing about him is he rarely ever drops a ball. He's had something like 5 dropped passes over the past 2 years with over something like 150 targets. Just absolutely insane. This guy catches almost everything thrown to him, and Russell Wilson will really appreciate that. At 59, Jordan Elliott, defensive tackle, University of Missouri. He's another player that I really love a lot. He's just super productive, and the thing why he is maybe down on some boards where scouts and analysts are not super high on him is because he doesn't have that insane burst or that super twitchy power. He doesn't burst off the line. What he does do really well, though, is have amazing technique, and he rushes the passer consistently. He beats his man. He just doesn't do it with a size, speed, burst kind of combination. What he does it with is he's more of a technician, and he's really great with his hands. And then what I like to call him, or his style, is that he's a delayed swimmer. What I mean is that he pops up, he fights with the offensive lineman, and then pop, he just kind of pops through the line. It's almost like he does like this swim through the offensive line, and it's almost like, to me, kind of like a delayed swim is the best way to articulate that, I guess. 64, I took Josh Uche, University of Michigan. Edge is what he's listed at here. I see him much more as an off-ball linebacker blitzer. I think he's similar. You know, you have Bruce Irvin there. He's getting way old, much older. Josh can come in there and fill Bruce Irvin's shoes and maybe even do a better job than what Irvin's doing right now. This guy's super twitchy, really fast. He's shorter. He's a little undersized because he's about 245, which is pounds, which is a little, not a little, but it's under the threshold of 250 that you really, really want. But I think he's got versatility. You can use him as an off-ball linebacker or on the edge. Both places I think he'll do well. at least when he's rushing the passer. He's got tremendous strength. When you look at his game against Tristan Wirfs in Iowa, look at that game. He shoves Wirfs right into the quarterback more than once. And he's giving up something like 70 pounds, and Wirfs is a super athletic, strong guy, and he's shoving Wirfs right into the quarterback's throat. Okay? So Uchi's got some power to his game and a lot of speed. I think he's one of the best speed to power players in this game, and I see him being a nice fit in Seattle. Okay, let's move along here. At 69, I took Terrell Burgess, safety / slot cornerback out of Utah University, or University of Utah. I like him a ton. He's a really safe player, plus player in coverage. He can come down in the box. He makes a ton of tackles, and I think he would add or he would mix well in that secondary if Seattle puts him as a slot corner, because their two outside guys are actually quite good now, or at least average. They need a slot guy, and Burgess would fit in perfectly as that slot player. At 101, selected Ben Bartch, tackle, St. John's University, Division III. He's just super consistent, and he showed well at the Senior Bowl. So those are the two nice things about his game. And then also Seattle can always seems to need or could use offensive line help. So I went Bartch here. I think for this point in the draft, he's a steal or a semi-steal. I don't really expect or think he'll be available there, but if he is, I'm running up to the podium to select that guy. 133, took Shane Lemieux. I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce his name exactly. Guard, University of Oregon. 144, Kenny Robinson Jr., safety, XFL, St. Louis Battlehawks / West Virginia University. And then at 214, John Pinacini, University of Utah, defensive tackle. Now, all three of these players was just about adding depth and competition at these spots. Again, Shane, I think he's the entire Oregon line was average to above average players. I think he'll fit in there with Seattle and provide competition and maybe even be a competent starter on the line, and that's where Seattle can use some help. Kenny Robinson Jr., he's a fantastic free safety, Earl Thomas type player. He's just super, super inconsistent because he misses way too many tackles, a la Grant Delpit. He's a guy that I love. He's got really amazing range, and I think Pete Carroll can coach this guy up and get a lot out of him, and he provides something that Seattle doesn't have exactly in their safety group right now. He brings a different profile, so that's what I liked also about adding him, because Burgess is more of a cornerback, that third cornerback, the slot guy. Kenny Robinson Jr. would be that single high, deep center fielder type guy. And then finally, Pinacini, the whole thing with him simply is that he's more depth along the defensive line, and Seattle can certainly use that. And he's stout against the run. He's not really going to give a ton of, pass rushing, but at 214 in the draft, if this guy makes the roster and is even an average starter, you got a tremendous value steal there. Final thing to touch on is the trade. I moved back from 27 all the way to 38, and then I picked up also the 69th selection in this year's draft. I think it's kind of realistic. It might be a little more than actually what a team will really give up. They might give up only maybe like the 100th selection or somewhere around there, like an late third or early fourth round pick instead. But I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility that something similar to this might happen. Teams like to jump back in at the end of round one, and Seattle likes to trade back. I didn't do that because I was trying to predict what Schneider will do. Instead, I just felt like it was good value to do something like that because the Seahawks don't have a ton of picks in this draft. Overall, I would say I agree a ton with the PFF grading here. This is a home run draft for the Seahawks, and if they get something like this, they might very well win the NFC West this year if they get anything close to that. Elliott, I think, and Uchi and Pittman, all three of those top or the first three selections, I would not be surprised if one or two are Pro Bowl players. They're really, really solid, good players. And then the rest of the draft, it's a lot of great talent at the draft selection at that number. Okay, well, it's already 11 minutes long. Thank you very much if you've been here the entire time. I really, really do appreciate that, as most people only stick around for 1 or 2 minutes and then they F off and leave. Fair enough, yeah, I can understand. But anyway, if you've been here the entire time, thank you a ton. And seriously, from the bottom of my heart, just thank you if you've been here the entire time. Okay, you have a great day, and I wish you well.